Let's make breakfast a breeze. School is in session, it's official, and the morning circus hour is no joke. My commute is an hour, and if I don't leave by 7 a.m., the commute gets exponentially worse with each passing minute. So I want to make sure my kids have breakfast right before I go. And my husband often gives them cereal, which is fine. But I also, as a culinary coach and a physician, I want to make sure that they also have some more nutrient dense options as well. I'm Dr. Danielle, and I'm going to be joined by Dr. Erin, and we're going to show you how to batch cook both steel cut oats and some lemon chia seed muffins. Let me see it. She is here. We'll get her on. All right. Dr. Erin is on her way in, and we are going to get started. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I was just talking about how the morning circus hour is no joke. What is it like for you in the mornings with the kids?
Oh, it is true. It is definitely the morning circus hour around here as well. There's nothing easy about getting, however many kids you have out the door, getting them fed and dressed and all of that stuff. So it's crazy. And I like to get them a breakfast that doesn't have a lot of sugar, but has some protein and maybe some brain boosting antioxidants. Unfortunately, my 10-year-old hears about kind of all kinds of different products at school. They come in
Of course.
boxes. Yeah, right? The ultra processed foods, and he wonders why he can't just have that. Mom, it'd be so much easier, right? Um, or they just want bacon and sugar cereal. Eggs, we love eggs, and I think eggs are a great go-to, but sometimes they want something sweet, and to find something that um, you know, really gets at that sweet tooth for them, but meets my standards for a healthy breakfast, it can be hard. But I found these muffins, and I think they're awesome. You can pre-prep them, you can freeze them, and then you can just pop them out, and they think they're getting like a definite treat. These will
Mhm.
hold them over. My kids are too interested in recess to be able to eat their morning snack. I hear that from their teachers all the time. So I
Same.
need to have, yeah, right. I need to have something that's going to carry them through to lunchtime, really. So these have all up leveled ingredients, and I just really love them. So all right,
Awesome.
well, yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. So these are lemon chia seed muffins. They are inspired and adapted from this awesome cookbook called Rise and Run, which I love, by two long distance runners. So, long distance runners are going to need so much protein and fiber and everything. So it's really helpful. All their recipes contain those things. So, instead of having sugary and refined sugar and white flour in these muffins, it has all improved ingredients. So the first thing that I love about these are they have chia seeds. So chia seeds used to be kind of difficult to find, and they're a little bit more popular now. So you can find them a lot of different places. They come just whole like this. They don't have to be ground like flaxseed or anything. And they have protein and a lot of fiber and a lot of great, really healthy fats. So that's one thing that's super important, right? So that
Yeah,
fat
for
will
sure.
help to make us feel full longer, along with
And
the
Dee was
fiber.
asking about healthy breakfast for teenagers who are into weightlifting, and exactly what you said. Yeah, it's got protein, it's got fiber,
Mm,
it's got healthy fats. So adding that
absolutely.
into any of their meals can also be helpful. So yeah,
Yeah.
let's keep
Yeah,
going
and
and make
for
some.
for people who don't like that texture of chia seeds, they do turn kind of like jelly like in liquid. You can always immersion blend them or blend them up like in a
Mhm.
smoothie or something if you wanted to do that. The only thing to know about them is don't eat them dry. They do expand like when they get wet, so you don't want to eat them dry. You want to already have them in some sort of liquid or something.
For
But
sure.
one tablespoon, which isn't very much. This recipe calls for 3 tablespoons. Has 5 grams, about 5 grams of fiber. So that is really, really great. Um, so this recipe is made with almond flour. I have my dry ingredients here: almond flour and oats. So we don't even have any regular wheat flour or white flour. You could potentially use whole wheat pastry flour, I'd say. I probably wouldn't use just regular whole wheat flour. It'd make it really too grainy and heavy, I think. And then we have chia seeds and a little bit of baking soda. And then we have our wet ingredients. And this is another aspect of this recipe that I love, right? So fresh lemon juice is always great. So you can kind of make them a little more lemony if your kids like that, or if you like that, with that fresh lemon juice. Yes. And the zest of the lemon goes in here too, which gives it that like really bright flavor. And then the surprise ingredients is carrots. So I love that these muffins have vegetables in them. Adds more fiber, more nutrients. It's called for white carrots, but you could really use any color carrot. The white carrot blends in really nicely, or even the orange carrot would blend in nicely with the color of the muffins. So you just grate these, and I grate it on a pretty coarse setting, and it doesn't really make a difference in the muffin, which is great. But you could always,
that was my question. Do you grate it with like the really fine grating, or like the large grate, like for grating cheese?
Yeah, I have traditionally done the grating, the larger one. And that's partly because I have like one of those really old salad shooters. I don't know if anybody knows what those are anymore, but like it's like from my childhood. And it does it on the large setting, and I just like love using it. It's so simple. So but you could do the smaller setting if you wanted. Yeah, either one. And then we've got some eggs and some coconut oil. All good ingredients in there that are just adding more nutrients to this whole dish, right? And then if you want, you can put in blueberries. It does call for blueberries. My son hates like baked goods with fruit in them. So sometimes I'll make half with and half without. You can use regular, fresh blueberries, but if you're living somewhere, or if it's a season where you can't really find good blueberries, these frozen blueberries are great. I'm just draining some here. And I love the frozen blueberries that are wild blueberries. Wild blueberries have more antioxidants and for your brain, so that's great. And it really helps to get those brain cells going in the morning. All right, there are some.
We all need that.
Yeah, I know, right? And there are some studies that show that actually consuming blueberries helps kids to concentrate better, focus better in school. So, who knows, but it can't hurt, right?
Absolutely. We love blueberries. We never have enough.
Yeah, they're wonderful. I suppose you could also put raspberries or any other berry in there that if you preferred. You just have to watch out for the water content. And that's why I was draining those frozen blueberries, because they are obviously a little bit more wet, and so they'll change the consistency.
Yeah. No, that's a great tip.
Yeah, so then you just mix. I have these two things all set up here, and I'm just gonna mix the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients. And you don't want to like mix it too much. You just want to fold it in there, and then dump those blueberries in, or you could dump the blueberries in first and then mix it. Just be careful not to be too rough with it. And then you can make big muffins, like the regular size muffins for these, and call it a day with just one, or you could make the mini muffins, which are also another favorite, and pop them in to a lunch, for your kids or for yourself. Or
perfect size for grown-ups and the kiddos.
Absolutely. Have if you're running between patient rooms and you need a little boost mid-morning or something, a mini muffin is the perfect size. They can, they look a little tedious to fill, but I have this spoon, which is technically an ice cream spoon that somebody gave us.
Oh, it looks like a spoon to get the ice cream. Awesome.
Yeah, but it's the perfect size for filling these mini muffin tins. And even my 5-year-old was able to help me with this spoon, and it doesn't go everywhere, and it moves pretty quickly. So don't be turned off by that.
For sure. Awesome. Well, while Dr. Erin's making that, I like the mini muffins. I use a little, like one of those small cookie scoops too.
Oh yeah.
Instead of for regular muffins, I use an ice cream scoop, and for the little mini muffins, I use one of the cookie scoops. So while Dr.
Awesome.
Erin's making that, I am going to demo the steel cut oats. So I
Yes.
know a lot of people already know about oatmeal and overnight oats, but I want to highlight steel cut oats. Why? Because they taste delicious, and I personally think they taste a lot better. And honestly, I prefer the texture and the crunch of steel cut oats. They maintain a certain crunch throughout the week and like a nice mouthfeel, as opposed to oatmeal or overnight oats, which is more creamy and homogeneous. I mean, I'm not here to hate on oatmeal. It's super convenient, and I love it, especially for baking, like Dr. Erin's doing. But I don't want to discount steel cut oats just because it takes longer to cook. And I say that in air quotes because I am going to show you a way to make it so that it doesn't take a lot of time, energy, or effort. So this recipe was inspired by Dr. Julia Nordgren. She is a physician and also a chef who I met at the Healthy Kitchen, Healthy Lives conference this February. Hi,
I
Johnny.
love her.
Daily
I
breakfast. Yes, she's
absolutely love
amazing.
her. She's like one of my heroes.
Oh my God, I totally fangirled on her and got a signature and the cookbook and everything. So
Awesome.
I'm making a simplified version of hers. I mean, hers is already simple to begin with. Like the main thing that you want to know about steel cut oats is the ratio. The ratio for steel cut oats to water or liquid is 1 to 3. So 1 cup of the steel cut oats and 3 cups of water. Most recipes call for water, but I like my oats to be a little bit creamier. So if you'd like to do that, replace one of the cups of water with your milk of choice. I like almond milk, so I'm going to put that into my 4 cup measuring cup. So I've already got 2 cups of water in there, and I added 1 cup of almond milk, and I'm going to boil that. I really like using this 4 cup measuring cup. Dr. Erin, do you have a 4 cup measuring cup?
I do, and I love it. I use it for everything.
I know, I feel like
Absolutely.
people usually get the 2 cup measuring cup, and that's great. I
Yeah.
have one too. But
Yep.
having a 4 cup measuring cup is just so much more bang for your buck that, you can still do your 2 cups of whatever. But if you're trying to like measure or get rid, drain some stock, or you want to measure like 4 cups of vegetables, you can
Yeah.
definitely do that. Or if you're combining 2 ingredients, like say sometimes I substitute applesauce for oil or butter, and then I need milk also. I'll put the applesauce in and then add the milk, and then this container is tall enough so that when you mix it together, it doesn't spill all over the place, and then you can just pour things directly into whatever container you're cooking in. So
Absolutely. Yeah, I
just
love
one
the
tip, if you're going to get a measuring cup, get a 4 cup measuring cup. You're still going to get the benefit of the 2 cup, and it's just so much more versatile.
yeah, and it's almost like you said, like another mixing bowl or something. I always combine my ingredients in there too. So it's
Yeah,
great. Yeah.
for sure. So watching water boil is boring, right? So I'm going to keep going, and you're going to use 1 cup of the steel cut oats. So it's a little bit short, like me, because I pretty much almost ran out of steel cut oats, but it's going to be fine. It's going to be totally fine. So 1 cup in there, and then a half teaspoon of salt. Ta-da! And then to be a little bit extra, a teaspoon of vanilla. Yeah, I eyeballed it, and I put a hole at the top of the vanilla to make it pour out a little bit easier. So that's what I do. And then the last thing that I add is a little bit of maple syrup. You can add this at the end, but I like adding it at the beginning so that when you heat it up again, it's pretty much just ready to go. So I'm going to add it ahead of time.
Nice.
And it's fine. It'll be fine. Just saving you some extra seconds in the mornings because, like I said, it is a circus. And so you just give it one little stir. And then once it's boiling, you just, do this. Alexa, set a timer for 15 minutes.
You're like me. I use my Alexa so much for timers, and when we go places and I'm cooking and there's no Alexa, I burn everything.
Yes, yep. I definitely, I used to rely on Alexa for timeouts, but now I use it for just cooking and timing. So it's boiling, it's getting ready to go. And so I'm going to show you just another way to make this more, time neutral. You know, you can set this while you're eating dinner or while you're, doing your dishes. So that way you're not like staring and looking at the stove and like watching grass grow. And if you don't even have time for that, say, because morning is circus hour, dinner is circus hour. And if you can't, do that, or you don't have the time for that, what you can do is once it boils and you give it a little stir, you turn off the heat, cover it, and walk away.
Nice.
Morning, when you wake up, it's going to be fine. It's going to be totally fine. Dr. Norgren showed us this tip at the Healthy Kitchens, Healthy Lives conference, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is brilliant. So
That's great.
if you don't do that, once you do see it boiling, turn your temperature down to a simmer, and then in 15 minutes, it's going to be amazing. So steel cut oats are less processed than rolled oats. So although they require a longer cooking time, they retain more of the nutrients than the rolled oats. And so especially when it comes to fiber and density, they also have a lower glycemic index than the rolled oats. Dr. Erin, are you team rolled oats? Or are you team steel cut oats?
Well, we do love the steel cut oats. So we do those as well. But I always have the rolled oats because, as you can tell, like I bake with them a lot and make oat flour from those. But those steel cut oats are great.
Awesome. Everyone's joining. I just want to say hi and make sure we say hello to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. In case you miss it, share this with your friends. It's going to be recorded, and so that you can share it with anyone else who wants to save time and eat yummy things for breakfast, not just for their kids but also for themselves. So in here, just to recap, I've got 3 cups of liquid. So 2 cups of water, 1 cup of almond milk, the 1 cup of oats, half a teaspoon of salt, a little bit of vanilla, and a little bit of maple syrup. So that is gonna that is going to sit. And we talked about saving time by setting it, turning off make sure you turn off the stove top if you're going to make it just overnight. Cover it with a lid and it'll be fine in the morning. And for the muffins, I was just wondering, what do they look like when they come out?
Yeah, so I have some of these big ones that we made yesterday. My daughter is home with bilateral ear infection, so nothing communicable, but wasn't able to go to school. She loves baking, so she helped me make these yesterday. And these ones have the blueberries in them. I love them. We also did a little extra and made these mini muffins that are actually like red velvet. So they're dark chocolate with beets. So they're colored the red velvet. So they have grated beets in them. These are delicious. Even my 10-year-old had one after school. I didn't tell him they had beets in them. And I heated it up a little bit for him, and he was dancing around. Oh, this is so good. This is so good. So those were definitely a hit. So I love the concept of adding some vegetables into your muffins, mini muffins.
Are those beets, are those cooked or are those raw?
Raw beets, raw grated beets. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, awesome.
They're great.
Yeah.
And don't forget, I mean, the dark chocolate, right? Dark chocolate has a lot of antioxidants in it. So, you get a little bit of that, the chocolate sensation and that craving, but you're also getting great stuff too for your brain and body.
For sure. Now, notice I'm not like constantly stirring these oats. This is so hands off. Like people think like steel cut oats take so much longer. It's 5 minutes of hands on, and then you walk away. You eat your dinner. You make your dishes, or you make your dishes and eat your dinner, which however it goes. And it's just time saving when you have this going and don't have to worry about it. You actually don't want to stir it too much, because when you do, it releases more starches and it makes it more like gluey and chewy as opposed to
Yeah.
creamy, crunchy, and dreamy. So
That is
you
such
don't
a
have to
good
stir it
tip.
over.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that about it being all gluey like that.
Hmm.
So that's
Yeah.
great.
So one time I went to, once I started loving the steel cut oats, I saw it served at a restaurant for breakfast. You know, when breakfast is included, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm going to get the steel cut oats. It was like a huge gluey and chewy, watery mess. It was
Ooh.
not good. So at hotels and restaurants, they make them in like these huge batches, and I'm sure they, stir them a lot. So lesson learned, eat something else. Small batches at home are just so much better than the big, huge batches you can get like at a restaurant or a
Hmm.
hotel. So
Hmm.
that's for sure.
Awesome.
Once it's ready, um, I'm gonna let this keep cooking. But because of the magic of Instagram, I have it ready.
Woo!
You pour it out into a container and you let it cool, and it's ready to go. You can make sure to, cover it with an airtight lid. And if you want to look like a chef, I totally use the painter's
Painter's
tape,
tape.
label it with a Sharpie, and have
Love
it
it.
in the kitchen, in your fridge. And it's just so visually easy to see. It's, again, less thinking. You see it ready to go. The way to reheat it, is you put it in a bowl, and don't worry if it looks like solidified like this. That's totally
Hmm.
fine. Put it in a bowl. You can add a little bit more of like either water or almond milk, pop it in the microwave, and it's ready to go. So
Awesome.
depending on how big your kids are, mine are little, they're 7 and 9, so they don't need like tons. And you can easily double the recipe. Again, all you need to remember is the ratio of 1 to 3, 1 cup of the steel cut oats, 3 cups of liquid. And then
Great.
toppings are endless. If your kids
Yeah.
are just like simple stuff like mine, my older one likes maple syrup. My younger one likes a little bit of ube halaya, which is a
Mm.
Filipino purple sweet yam. And so when you
Yum.
add to your foods, it gives your food this vibrant purple color
Yeah.
and yummy flavor. So he likes that.
How
You can,
fun.
if you're interested in more protein, fiber, antioxidants, the toppings are endless. We've got blueberries. I literally just made another batch of my
Yeah.
homemade candied pecans with coconut sugar. You can put that
Mm.
on top.
You could do
Or
chia seeds even.
chia seeds, absolutely. Granola, all of the above.
Granola,
Oops,
yeah. That's
my
great.
stove top is not happy right now because I put something on there. But and
I
granola,
love
blueberries,
nut butters in
nut butter,
oatmeal. I
yeah.
like any kind of nut butter. I'm a big fan of adding that into
For
oatmeal.
sure. Yeah, I do that with
Yeah.
my yogurt too. Like I love
Oh yeah.
almond butter, so great. And then if you want a more savory type of meal, you can put your eggs on there. Like I
Absolutely.
either a soft boiled or
Hmm.
over
Poached.
medium.
Yeah.
Poached, yeah. Don't knock it till you try it. Back when I
Absolutely.
was working in the hospital, I would get oatmeal, a little bit of brown sugar, and like back when I ate all the bacon, like a little pieces of bacon. It's kind of like
Right.
that sweet and savory
Hmm.
flavor that you get from like chicken and waffles. So
Totally.
the flavor combinations are endless. And now you've
Yeah.
got your steel cut oats ready to go. Breakfast will be just so much more
A
easy
breeze.
to think about. I definitely made your
Oh, look.
lemon chia seeds. I did
Yeah.
the blueberries too, and um, the little mini muffins. Oh my
Uh-huh.
goodness, these are so good. I love the texture because it has number one the almond flour, and then the rolled
The
oats give it
oats.
this really nice texture. A lot of recipes have the flour ground, the
Yeah.
oats ground, which is good too. But I like the extra whole
Mm.
rolled oats that are in there. And then my
Right.
lemons were a little bit on the smaller side. So I
Okay.
did 2 zests of lemons.
Oh, wow.
Highly
That's
recommend. This is so
yeah.
good. So good.
Good. Yeah. I love adding that. I mean, that is something about these recipes is you can kind of like run with it. However,
Mhm.
you know, make it kind of your flavor. So if you like it really citrusy, yeah, go with more zest or and the zest is so bright and flavorful and great. So I too like the how the whole oats are in this one. My son doesn't like that so much, so sometimes I grind them up. But
Mhm.
yeah, and you never have to go buy the oat flour. If a recipe calls for oat flour, don't go buy it. Buy rolled oats
Oh my
because it's
gosh,
cheaper, and then grind them up yourself, and it's totally
brilliant.
fine. Yeah,
Yeah, I do the
yeah.
same. Yeah, yeah. You don't need to buy the you don't need to
No,
buy ground oats. Just,
no.
this is much more versatile. Either use them whole or spin them in your blender. Ta-da!
Exactly. Done. Right.
Ground oats. So, okay, real life,
Wow.
like I mentioned, my husband at the beginning, he gives the kids cereal, and that's fine. Like, we are not here to be breakfast police. Like, mornings require just often include a lot of chaos, and that's okay. We totally get it. We're
Yeah.
just here to show you what's possible, what's maybe, possibly doable. And
Hmm.
I'm a visual learner. So if I see other working moms making something delicious and healthy, then I think, hey, maybe I could do that too, right?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, nobody's perfect. Our mornings are not perfect by any means. And do sometimes my kids have a breakfast and I'm like, of course they do, right? So, but you know what? Give yourself some credit if your kids are fed and dressed and they have their stuff with them and they get to school, then you're awesome. You did it.
That's a win.
Woo! It's a win, right? These are just some ideas for some other options. And I agree with you. Sometimes for me, it's just like the implementation. Once I see somebody else doing, I'm like, oh, I could do that. And I just bake the muffins when I can. You bake them when you can. But it's just the idea too. It's like, oh, I didn't even think of that. So that's all we're trying to do is just give you a few ideas and know that you can up level a lot of what you're already doing without a whole lot of extra effort, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So
So there's a question. Thank you, Athenea. She says, can you make a healthy version of chia seed pudding? I have mine. Not
sure if it's
sure
a
if it's like a healthy version. I mean, here's the
yeah.
thing. Chia seeds they're healthy. Like if you put them in whatever it is, like medium, like you're
Mm-hmm.
still going to get the health benefit of chia seeds, whether you use almond milk or coconut milk or
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
sort of milk alternative. So,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to feel guilty that you're using, something sweet and savory along with like something that's high in fiber. When you combine the two of those,
Mm-hmm.
you're still going to receive the benefits. And then what you could do is maybe the next time you make it, cut back a little bit on the sweetener or change the proportions of, like, say, if you're using coconut milk, do half and half coconut
Yeah,
milk, almond
right,
milk, right?
right.
Any
Yeah,
thoughts,
that's a
Dr.
good
Smith?
idea. Yeah, I like that idea. I mean, if you like the coconut flavor, and especially if you're cooking for kids, kids, up to adolescence, their brains need a little bit different stuff than like our brains do too. So don't feel so bad, like using some coconut milk or things like that. I use light coconut milk if I'm going to make
Oh,
it with the coconut milk. So we do a little less saturated fats. The plant-based milks are great, and using a little bit of sweetener like honey or maple syrup. And I like to kind of increase the vanilla because it gives you that sweet sensation without having more sugar. And
yeah,
then
absolutely.
whatever you do with your toppings, right? I mean, you can make it
Exactly.
sweeter with your toppings, the fruit or granola or anything
Mhm.
like that. So I agree with you. If you're eating something with sugar with something with fiber and protein, you get a lot less of that glucose spike, and it's a lot better for your body. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Yay. Great
Well,
questions.
yeah. If there are any other questions or anything, let's see. I see unsweetened almond. Yeah, unsweetened. That's one thing about the plant-based milks I would say is just be careful. The original versions of a lot of them are actually sweetened. So
Mhm.
make sure it says unsweetened, not original, because you'll be surprised. You'll get it home and you're like, wait, why? Yeah, exactly. The unsweetened version. The originals tend to have, 10, 12 grams of sugar added to them. So be
Mhm.
careful about that. Well, we hope that you found this episode helpful and fun. Please share it with your friends and follow Dr. Danielle at Eat Rome Heal or myself or at Medicine of Yum for more kitchen prescriptions. We love cooking and we love helping you out. So you can DM either of us with the word breakfast and we'll send you the recipes that we shared here today. And we'll go from there. We'll hopefully see you next time.
Yes, thank you for spending your morning with us. Again, DM one of us at Eat Rome Heal or at Medicine of Yum Breakfast, and we will send you these recipes. And comment below with what you want us to make next time.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Yeah.
Bye.
Here's to a good breakfast. Bye.